Wow, sneakers. Think about it, almost everyone wears them. You probably have a favorite pair right now. Maybe they are comfy for walking, maybe they look super cool. Or maybe they help you run faster and jump higher. Sneakers are a huge part of our daily lives. They are on our feet when we go to school, to work, or just hang out with friends. It's amazing how something so common can be so important to us. From the playground to the fashion runway, sneakers have made their mark. Sneakers weren't always the high-tech wonders we see today. Their story starts much simpler. Way back in the late 1800s, people started wearing shoes with rubber soles. These were called plimsolls. They were pretty basic, just a canvas top stuck to a rubber bottom. The cool thing was, they were quiet. You could sneak around in them. And that's how they eventually got the name sneakers. Pretty neat, huh? These early shoes were a big deal. Then, in the early 1900s, things started to get more interesting. Companies like Converse and Keds popped up. They began making sneakers specifically for sports, especially basketball. Think about those classic Converse All-Stars. They were revolutionary for their time. Athletes loved them because the rubber soles gave them good grip on the court. These shoes were still pretty simple by today's standards, but they were the first steps towards the specialized athletic footwear we know and love. It was the beginning of a footwear revolution. For a long time, sneaker manufacturing was a very hands-on process. Workers would cut the canvas, stitch the pieces together, and manually attach the rubber soles. This early history set the stage for the incredible technological advancements that would later transform the sneaker industry into the powerhouse it is today. The real game changer for sneakers came with technology. In the later part of the 20th century, things started to speed up. Computers entered the scene, new materials were invented. Factories began to look very different. This tech revolution didn't just make sneaker production faster, it made sneakers better, stronger, and way more comfortable. One of the first big steps was the use of new synthetic materials. Instead of just canvas and basic rubber, designers started experimenting with nylons, plastics, and foams. These materials were lighter and more durable. They could be engineered to do specific things like cushion your foot or provide better support. Think about the first air-cushioned soles. That was a huge breakthrough. It was all about using science to improve performance and comfort. Then came computers. Computer-aided design, or CAD, became a massive tool. Designers could now create and modify sneaker designs on a screen. They could make incredibly precise three-dimensional models. They could even simulate how a shoe would perform before it was ever made. Automation started to creep into the factories. Machines began to take over some of the repetitive tasks. The tech takeover turned sneaker making into a high-tech industry. So, how does a brand new sneaker design actually begin? It all starts with an idea, of course. Today, most sneaker design happens on a computer. Designers use sophisticated CAD software. This software lets them draw in 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. It's like sculpting, but with pixels. They can create incredibly detailed virtual models. Designers can experiment with different shapes, colors, and materials right there on the screen. They can rotate the virtual shoe, look at it from every angle, and make tiny adjustments with the click of a mouse. Want to see how it looks in blue? Click. Want to try a different sole pattern? Click. This process allows for a lot of creativity and iteration. They can try out dozens of ideas in the time it used to take to make one physical sample. But it's not just about looks. This software can also help predict performance. Engineers can run simulations. They can test how the shoe might bend and flex. They can analyze stress points. This helps ensure the final product isn't just stylish, but also functional. From a spark of an idea to a detailed digital blueprint, this first step is all about harnessing the power of technology. Once the design is locked in, it's time to think about materials. The materials used in modern sneakers are incredible. We've come a long way from just simple canvas and rubber. Leather is also a popular choice for its durability and style. But today, sneaker companies are like material science labs. They are constantly developing new and amazing stuff to build our shoes from. It's all about performance, comfort, and increasingly, sustainability. Think about the uppers of many modern running shoes. You'll often find engineered meshes. These are lightweight, breathable fabrics that can be designed with different zones of support or flexibility. Then there are knit technologies like Nike's Flyknit or Adidas's Primeknit. These create an upper that's almost like a sock. It's made from a single piece of yarn which reduces waste and creates a super comfortable custom-like fit. And sustainability is a huge driver of material innovation now. Companies are using recycled plastics, sometimes pulled straight from the ocean, to make yarns for sneaker uppers. They're developing foams from plant-based sources instead of petroleum. Some are even experimenting with leather alternatives grown in labs. After selecting the materials, they need to be cut into all the different pieces that make up the shoe. High-powered lasers, or incredibly fine water jets, guided by computers, can cut through multiple layers of fabric or synthetic material at once. Now let's talk about the sole. This is literally the foundation of the sneaker. It's what comes between your foot and the ground. The sole is usually made of three main parts: the insole, the midsole, and the outsole. The insole is the soft part your foot rests on. The outsole is the tough, grippy bottom layer. But the real hero for comfort and performance, that's often the midsole. This is where a ton of sneaker technology lives. Midsoles are all about absorbing impact and providing energy return. Today, companies have their own secret formulas for midsole foams. Materials like EVA, which is ethylene vinyl acetate, and PU, or polyurethane, are common. They are lightweight and can be molded into complex shapes. Brands develop proprietary foam compounds like Adidas Boost or Nike React. These are engineered to be incredibly responsive, giving you that bouncy feeling when you run or walk. Creating these intricate soles involves some pretty cool manufacturing processes. Injection molding is one common method. Compression molding is another technique. The outsole itself is crucial for grip and durability. The sole is truly where science meets the road or the court or the trail. We've got our digitally designed patterns, we've got our amazing high-tech materials all cut out, we've got our perfectly molded soles. Now it's time for the grand assembly. This is where all those individual pieces come together to actually form a sneaker. This stage is a fascinating mix of skilled human craftsmanship and increasingly precise robotic automation. It's like a giant, super-organized puzzle, and it has to be done just right for the shoe to perform and last. Traditionally, assembling the upper of a sneaker involved a lot of stitching. Skilled workers would guide pieces of fabric or leather through industrial sewing machines. This still happens, especially for certain types of shoes or for adding specific details. But technology has introduced new methods too. No-sew technologies are becoming more common. These use heat and pressure to fuse different materials together. Once the upper is stitched or fused together, it needs to be shaped. This is often done using a last. The upper is stretched tightly around the last to give the sneaker its final three-dimensional shape. Then the upper is carefully attached to the sole unit. Throughout this entire assembly process, quality control is paramount. So, we've seen how sneakers are made today with all this amazing technology, but what's next? The world of sneaker manufacturing is always evolving, it's constantly pushing boundaries, and I can tell you the future looks incredibly exciting. One of the biggest game changers on the horizon is 3D printing, or additive manufacturing. Imagine walking into a store, getting your feet scanned, and having a pair of sneakers custom printed for you right there. 3D printing allows for incredible customization. It can create complex lattice structures for midsoles, offering personalized cushioning and support based on your specific foot shape and gait. It also means faster prototyping for designers. They can print a new sole design in hours instead of weeks. This speeds up innovation like crazy. Plus, 3D printing can reduce waste because it only uses the material needed to build the part. We're going to see even more eco-friendly materials and processes. Think biodegradable sneakers that can break down naturally at the end of their life. Or a truly circular economy where old sneakers are fully recycled into new ones again and again. The future of sneaker manufacturing is all about personalization, sustainability, and smart technology. It's an amazing time for footwear innovation.